SQL for Data Science webinar. Myself, Trivita. So we started the SQL for Data Science session from yesterday. Whoever has joined yesterday, thank you for being a part of this session. And whoever has missed yesterday's session, no need to worry. The recorded sessions will be available on YouTube as well as on LinkedIn. You can just check with our DataMites YouTube channel where you will find recorded session for the first day. And today is the second session where I'll be discussing further topics related to data science. SQL concepts that are related to data science. And also, do you remember the people who were there in our study session? We discussed concepts like what is database, and also we discussed things like what is DBMS, what is relational database, and how to create database. And also we discussed about the different databases. And do you remember that? So I hope screen is visible to you. Can I get a few confirmations? Okay, the screen is visible then. That's perfect. Yeah. So being a data scientist or being a data science engineer or a machine learning engineer, SQL plays a very important role. So I had discussed things like, why SQL is very important for any data scientist, because being a data scientist or being a data science engineer, probably people deal with the data. When there is a data, that should be a concept of a storage. So when you have to store a data or when you have to manage your data, there comes, concept of SQL. That's how SQL is very important for data scientists. All right. So in yesterday's session, we discussed like what is database and different databases. And also we discussed like a MySQL database, which we'll be using for this entire session. And also I taught you the steps in order to install MySQL Workbench. And also we did a few things like how to use MySQL Workbench, and also we did like how to create a database, how to drop database, and also we focused on how to create a table. And we discussed about while creating a table, basically we focus on data types and the constraints. So data types basically specify like, what type of data we are storing in a particular column. And one more thing, constraints, basically, they basically restrict the column based on certain conditions. Like if you want restrict your column to, non-null, that means it shouldn't include any null values. That means you need to specify a non-null, a not null constraint. So that's how SQL constraints are going to work. And finally, I think I taught you like how to connect a table to a database. So let's begin the session. So we'll do some important concepts for today's session, which plays a very important role, because I'll be explaining you things like how to import data, how to import table, how to import database. And also I'll be discussing things like different SQL commands. Okay, let's look for the content for today. I'm basically explaining you like how to import table, how to import database, and also how to export whatever table you have created inside a database. And also you can export database as well. And also we'll discuss few things like different SQL commands. Even in yesterday's session, we discussed like what are the different SQL commands. It was like data definition language, data manipulation language, DCL data control, and transaction control language. So we'll be focusing more on DDL and DML, because being a data scientist, our focus or our main agenda is basically, reading data. And it's reading data in the sense basically extracting the data that we want from the existing database. So that's our agenda. All right. So shall we proceed? So before that, I just want to share a drive link with you so that you can get an access to the data set that I'm sharing. So this is the drive link which I've shared in Q&A section where you'll find a data set that will be importing today. That disabled, sorry. Let me give you an option. Yeah, I hope you can chat now. Is it working? Yes, that's good. So you guys are ready with your laptops and MySQL workbench? Yes, that's good. So you people are excited to learn SQL. It's okay if you don't have a laptop or a MySQL workbench. It's not a big deal. What we can do is you can just look at the things like how things are happening, and then you can practice whenever you want, because this session will be available. It will be a recorded one, right? So you can access whenever you want and you can go with the flow. I think I have shared the drive link. Let me share it again. Yeah. So first thing, basically, I'm going to explain you like how to import a table. Because when you have a MySQL workbench, it's like a editor where you write a SQL language in order to write a queries. And with that SQL queries, what you can do, you can basically try to extract things, right? Like you can read, you can modify, you can update. So first thing, so you can create a table, but whenever it's a small table, you can create it. But when you have a huge data, in that case, you need to import that into a database. Okay, so here are the steps that you need to follow in order to import a table. It's like select database. So first you have to select the database name, and then you have to right click and you have to select the table data import wizard. And then you have to select the file. And then you have to create a new table, then click, then import. Don't worry, I'll show the steps. So were you able to access that Google Drive? And you can see a car data set there. So just download that file. So I've shared a new file, new CSV file. Please download that. See, you will see your drive something like this, where you have three things. I've given credentials to log in. So don't worry, if you have a workbench, just log in with your local host and you can try simultaneously with me. Yeah. So, oh, car data is missing. Let me download it. Let me upload it. So yeah, here it is, car data. Okay, just download this car data. So just download this car data set as well as this MySQL sample database. So this is our sample data. This is a database sample, which contains some tables. Basically, I'm trying to show like how to import table as well as how to import our database into a MySQL workbench. So done with downloading. Okay, that's good. So now let me move on to the workbench, MySQL workbench. So yeah. So we call this as a MySQL workbench, right? People who joined today, don't worry about a MySQL workbench. You can download it later. Just look at the concepts, okay? Yeah. So you people are doing it on local host, right? So first what you have to do, you have to create a database. How do you create a database? So what is the keyword to create a database? It's just create database. You can do it along with me. And those who don't have a database MySQL Workbench installation, those who have not done, don't worry. Just look at how things are happening. You can practice it later. Okay. So I'm trying to create a database called as, let's say, my data. So my database name is my data. So let me close it with semicolon. And how do you run? I just want to click on this. Yeah. So let me refresh. And so where is my data? Look here. Here is a database. Here is my database. So how do you view all the databases that are available in this MySQL Workbench? So the code is show databases, right? Let me run this. So this code basically shows you like all the existing databases in this MySQL Workbench. So that is a car data database, information schema, my data, which is created just now. So that's my database. Yes. Yeah. And also we have practice data, performance schema, sys. So this is how you will view a databases. Okay, so now I want to import that car data set into this my data database. So how do you import? So the first method, simple, just click on that database and right click. Follow the steps carefully. Click on the database. So my database is my data. My database name is my_data. So just select that and right click on the database. So you can see options here and select this table data import wizard. Let me select this. Yeah, so once you select, you'll get something like this. Are you getting the same thing? Like select file to import. Select your database and right click, and then you'll see table import wizard. Devices don't do it on the credentials that I've given. That is only for viewing, not for working. Open your MySQL Workbench with a local host that you have created, your own username and your password. Basuraj, I think we have shared it. Okay, let me share it again then. So here is a Google Drive link. Let me show it again. Simple. So I have created my database with a name, my data. So let me select that and right click on that. And you can see an option like table data import wizard. So basically here we are trying to import data, like table data, right? We are trying to import a table. So we select this table data import wizard. Let me click on that. Select that. If you do that, you'll get a screen something like this. Can you see select file to import? Yes. So now what you have to do is you just need to browse your file. So you might have recently downloaded it and it will be available in your downloads. So mine, it's available in my desktop and in a SQL folder. So let me select this car data. And let me open it. Yeah. So the path is selected, car data set is selected. Now just click on next. So now it asks like using existing table or create new table or drop table if exists. So basically we are creating a new table, right? And the table name, let's take car data itself. So just check on this create new table and don't do anything with this use existing table or drop table if exists. So this function, this first function like use existing table means if you have already created a table with column names, then you can use that first option. Otherwise, if you don't have any table, then basically you're creating a new table. In that case, you just have to check on this create new table and the name of the table will be car data. Let me click next. So it will take you to this configure import settings. So why you have to do is just click on next. Don't worry about it. It just gave you the preview of data, like what are the different data types, constraints, all those things. So just click on next. And here it will do two things. It will prepare import and it will import data file. Okay, just click on execute. Don't do any check-in kind of thing. It will take it automatically. So just click on next. Yes, Pavan, you can try. I have taken very less data, like around like 150 or 160 records. It takes time because it basically works based on a processor that you have and the memory you have. So let's wait for this. And you can refresh here. You can see up arrow and a down arrow here. If you click on this, it will refresh. And let me come to my data, that is database, my data. And let's see whether table has imported or not. Just click on this arrow. And you can see a car data here. It's still importing. Okay, let's wait for that. Is it clear? Yes, that's good. Are you able to import it? Can you see a table car data inside your database? Rita, don't worry. Don't go with that DataMites user one. Just if you have installed your workbench, just start doing with that. Use the local instance and start doing things like whatever I'm doing. You can see your car data. That's good. See here, it shows like output, whether the query has executed or not. It says like it's at first it has created a table like car data. That's the first. And then it started, importing. Like insert records, we use insert function, right? So here automatically it does. It's basically inserting values into that car data table. So basically I've created my data database, right? So how do you make it as a default? So I'm working on my data. I'm working on my data database. So because in the schemas, we have different databases and this interpreter or, SQL has to know like from which database you are executing the queries. So how do you do that? So my database is my data. Just click on that. Just say set as default schema. That means like whatever queries I execute, that will be related to database name, my data. Khushbu, did you follow the same steps? Just retry. Is it done with importing? Still saying access denied. Meanwhile, just click on this. It will show schemas for you. Here you can see the control panels, right? So click on the first one. It will show you the schemas. Is it done with importing table? Still importing. No, don't connect to DataMite user. Just start with your local instance. Whatever MySQL workbench you have downloaded. So start practicing from that. So whatever I'm doing here, you will do it with your local instance. With your username and with your password, not with the credentials that I've given. Okay, let it download. Let me show you like how to import data. So basically we learned like how to import a table. Now let's see how to import a database. You can try with online Oracle. How to create local instance. So once you install that MySQL workbench, it will ask you to create username and the password. Okay, whatever username you give and whatever password you give, that will be taken and we call that as a local instance because you will be using that. So if it's done, let's move on to the SQL commands. Let's focus on like how to write a queries. Later, you can focus on like how to import all those things. Yeah. So yeah, let's begin with the SQL commands. Don't worry, let that table import. And so as I said, even in yesterday's session, there are basically 4 types of SQL commands. One is data definition language, data manipulation language, data control, transaction control languages. So we'll be focusing more on data manipulation language and data definition language. First, let's see what is data manipulation language, and let's try to do a different SQL commands which comes under data manipulation. All right. The first and very basic SQL command is basically a select statement. Do you have any idea like why select statement is used? If it says like local instances not connected to server, probably you might have not created it. Yeah. So select statement basically used to fetch all the records from a table. So let's say you have a table inside a database, and whenever you want to fetch all the records from the database, what you have to do is you have to use a select statement. Yeah. So this is a syntax, general syntax in order to select a record. So it's select, and you just need to specify the column names. If you want a subset of columns, that means like table means it will have n number of columns. Like if you want to fetch only a particular number of columns, you can just specify them by using comma. You can separate them using comma and you just need to specify the table name. The other way around, what you can do is by using asterisk symbol, you can extract all the records. That means all the fields and all the records. Fields are basically a columns. Using this asterisk symbol, you can extract all the columns from the data. All right. And using this, if you want to specify, particular columns, then it's a first command, that is column 1, column 2. All right. And here you can see an example. So we have a car data set, right? So if I want to print or, let's say if I want to extract all the fields, all the records from the table, then I just have to use select asterisk from car data set. And what if you want to extract or what if you want to fetch just a model column, brand, price columns from the car data set table? So in that case, instead of asterisk, what you have to do is you need to specify that a particular columns such as model, comma, brand, comma, price. So this is how you extract the data. So this is a very basic thing that we do in SQL. Understood? So these are the SQL commands you just need to remember. Select is a keyword and asterisk is basically used to extract all the records. And from what? From table. You need to specify the table name. And also, what if you want to extract the particular columns? In that case, instead of asterisk, you just need to specify the column names. So we'll try the SQL statements in MySQL Workbench. Don't worry if it's not working, just understand the concept. You can do it later. All right. Understanding is very important here. So let me move on to the MySQL Workbench. So yes. So let me clear this output. So let me use practice data. I have car data inside that. So let me see. Set as default schema. Okay, because I'm using the database name called as practice data. Okay, and I have inside that car data. Okay, so my table name is car data. How do you extract all the records of this table? So it's going to be select, and I want all the records. That means it's going to be star or an asterisk symbol. From what? What is your table name? So your table name is car underscore data. Yes, and let me close it with semicolon. So shall I run this? Yeah. So this is my data. Data is related to used cars in US, that is used car sales in US. You can see a model and year of purchase, the price, transmission, whether it's a manual or automatic, and you can see the mileage and also the fuel type, whether it's petrol or diesel one, and the tax. So MPG, it's mile per gallon, and engine size, and also you can see brand. There are different brands, that is brand names like Audi, BMW, Ford, Skoda, etc. Clear with this? So this is how you select entire data from a particular table. So I'm using my practice data database. So by right-clicking, I had just set it as default schema because I'm using that. Since there are many databases, I need to choose which one I'm using. So for that, you need to set it as default schema. So once that is done, so I have 3 tables inside that, but my queries are basically based on car data table. So what I do, I'm trying to extract all the records from the table, that is car data. So it's select keyword, and then I have to use asterisk symbol. So from the table name is car data. All right. So if this is done, let's move on to the next SQL statement or a SQL command, which is my question is like, how do you extract columns such as model? I want these columns. I want model, I want price column, and also I want brand column. So how do you write a code for this? So in order to comment in a MySQL Workbench, you just have to use 2 hyphens. Okay. So extracting all the records is known to you. Now I need to extract a particular columns or a particular fields. So how do you do that? So I need to use a select statement, and then I need to specify the columns. So what are the columns or what are the fields that I need to extract? So it's basically model separated by comma, and it's price, comma, The final column is brand. Make sure you use a same names. It's case sensitive. The fields are case sensitive. Okay, like whatever you have it in a table, the same thing has to be used when you define them. Okay, so I'm selecting the columns, specific columns, and I need to from where you are selecting. So it's basically from table. So it's going to be from the table name is car data. Let's run this. So now it will print you only 3 columns because we have specified it just as like model, price, and brand. Clear? Understood about the select concept? So my next question is, so I have a brand column, right? So what I want to do is I want to print a unique values in that brand column. So when I say brands, there will be a different brands, like there will be a BMW, Audi, Skoda, Toyota, Hyundai, and there will be many things. I just want to know, like, how many unique values are there in this particular column. So how do you do this? So for that, we have a statement called as select distinct. Okay, we use the select distinct keyword in order to fetch unique records from the table. Unique records means distinct records. All right, so let's see the code syntax. So it's basically we use select statement. Select is a keyword or a statement, and you just need to specify distinct keyword, and then you need to specify the column name for which you are finding the unique values. Okay, so and we are finding it from table, whatever table name you have. Let's look at an example. You can see here. So my question is, I just want to know the unique values in that particular brand column. So for that, I'm using select distinct keyword, and I'm trying to find distinct values in the field that is in brand field. So I'm specifying that brand within a parenthesis. It will find distinct of that brand. That means it will print you the unique values that are present in that brand column. And we are fetching it from car data. So let's see this, like how it's going to work in MySQL Workbench. Okay. So I need to fetch unique values in the brand column, right? So it's unique values and brand column. So how do you do that? So it's basically, I need to use a select keyword. And what we are trying to do, we are trying to find unique. Unique in the sense it's distinct. So let's say it's going to be distinct of what column? Of which column? So it's basically brand. Let me specify the column name. And we are doing this query on the table car data. So let me specify that car data. And let me run this. So yeah. So it has given you the distinct values that are available in brand. Can you make out? Can you see? So that if the distinct brand names are like Audi, BMW, Ford, VW is basically Volkswagen, Toyota, and Hyundai. So these are the different brand names. And do you want to find the count of distinct values? Yes. Do you want to know like how many are there? Here, basically there are like 6. So it's easy for us to find. But what if you have a like n number of like many numbers, then it's difficult for you to count all the unique values, right? In that, you need to find the count of it. So how do you do that? So it's select count of. So distinct of brand. Count is a function which is basically going to count things. Okay. So and we are extracting this from car data. So it's going to be select count of distinct brand from car data. So it will give you the count of distinct values that are present in a brand. Yes. So there are 6. It was basically 6, right? There were 6 brand names in the brand column. So even by using count function, it's giving you 6. Okay. Shall we try for some other column? So let me print the entire data and let's see which column has got the unique values. Okay. Let's see like what are the unique values and this fuel type. Mitesh, it's not possible. Okay, like if you want to return your entire record based on certain brands, then you have to use a where condition. You have to specify a conditions. Okay, I'll come to that later. Now we are just focusing on printing the unique values that are available in any column. You got 7 as a result. Why? What is the tally to 1? So your data set might contain Skoda, right? My data set doesn't have any Skoda here. So that's the issue. So I'm using what car data available in practice data. Yeah. Slicing, I don't call it as slicing. Rather, I would say like we can filter it out data based on certain conditions. Okay, I'll come to that. So clear with selecting all the records, selecting subset of records, and also selecting or finding unique values that are available in any column or any field. Yeah. Okay. So let's look into the next SQL command. So done with those, select distinct. Just understand the statement, like how it's working. If you know the syntax and if you know the logic behind like each syntax or each query, that is more than sufficient. That is what people are expecting from you. Okay, yeah. Yeah, people were asking like, can we extract records based on certain condition, right? Like particular brand or particular thing. So I'm coming to that point here. Yeah. So we have a clause called as wait clause, which is basically used to filter out records based on certain condition. You can specify your own condition, and based on that condition, you can filter it out. So this is what we do in data science. So we have to extract a data based on certain things. Let's say if we have a Flipkart data set, and if I want to extract a data just related to India. So this Flipkart sales is going to happen in the entire world. And I just want to extract or I just want to fetch records related to an Indian sales. So how do you do that? So that basically done using this wait clause. Sumit, if you want to know like how many cars of Audi in the table, that basically comes in an aggregation. And also we use group by concept. That is an advanced concept in SQL. All right. Yeah. So this wait clause is basically a condition-based filtering, right? So these conditions can be of 2 types. The one is comparison and the other one is logical. I think you people might have learned about this comparison operators and logical operators in your lower classes itself, probably. And also you studied it in Python. Yes. So these are basically operators. So we have different comparison operators like equal operator, greater than, less than, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to, and not equal means it's basically factorial equal. Yeah? So why the comparison operators are used? To compare between 2 values, right? Even in this case, in order to specify a single condition, we use comparison operator. And logical operators, there are basically and, or, and not. So these are the 3 logical operators which you might have studied and what we'll be studying in SQL. So why the concept of logical? When you want to compare more than one condition, yes. So even here, when you want to filter your records based on, based on more than one condition, in that case we use logical operators. So let's look into the syntax, like how wait clause work. So look here. So as we know that wait clause is basically used to filter records based on condition. So what we are doing here is I need to select entire data from table and I can specify the condition. How do you specify that condition? So before specifying that condition, you just have to use that wait clause. Remember, everything is same. You're extracting the data, and how you are extracting is basically done with the help of this wait condition. Like it will help you like in order to extract records based on certain condition. Let's look at the example. Okay, you can see here, the first code, whatever you have it here, it's basically going to return you all the records which belongs to Orica. or the brand. Okay, it's basically normal one, like select star from car data where brand equals Audi. You just need to specify that condition. Here I'm trying to filter it out records which are which relates to Audi brand. And also the second one, I'm trying to filter it out a records in which car prices less than 20,000. It's not 20,000, it's in dollars, I think. Okay, so based on certain number, like based on a condition, you can filter it out to your records. Let's do this using a MySQL workbench. So yeah, so I'm using where clause. I hope you got it, like why where clause is used. It's basically used to filter it out records based on certain condition. Okay, so my question is, I want to filter it out the records which belongs to just Audi, okay, which belongs to the branch Audi. So how do you do that? I'm fetching all the records, that means all the rows. So it's going to be select star from, and my card name is, sorry, my table name is from car data. And I need to use this where clause because I'm trying to filter out records based on a certain condition. So where, and you need to specify the condition. What's the condition? I'm trying to filter records based on if a record belongs to an Audi brand, then only it has to print me. So let's say it's going to be Audi. And let's run this. So can you see? Let me just drag this down. Can you see? All the records, whatever it has printed to me, it belongs to Audi. I don't see other brand names. So we had some 6 brand names, right? And I can see here records which belongs to just the Audi brand. So this is how where condition is going to work. Okay. Now the question is, let's do one more thing. Let's select just, records which belongs to BMW. Now let's do that. So let's say select star from. It doesn't mean that you need to select all the fields. You can also specify the number of columns you wanted. Okay. So let's select only the year and let's select the model. Yeah. And let me select tax. Okay, from what you are selecting, we are selecting it from car data. But so I need to specify the condition. Basically, I'm trying to fetch these fields. So from car data, which belongs to the brand BMW. Yeah. So let's see brand equals, the brand name is BMW. And let's run this. So it has to read me all the records which belongs to BMW, and it's going to print you the fields like year, model, and tax. I'm getting only 3 columns because I have specified just 3 columns. So do you want to know the count? You just have to give the count of here. It will print you like how many records are there. It's just count of start from car data where brand is Audi. Let's run this. So there are basically 49 records or 49 models which belongs to this branch Audi. Clear? So that's how things work. Even here, so I'm trying to print out a specific columns, right? So let me include brand as well so that you'll get to know the difference. So let's run it out. So it will print you all 4 columns that I have specified, and all these records belongs to BMW. You can just check out here, look here. So it's going to be just BMW, no other car name, no other brand name. Yeah, so this is how you do it. It doesn't mean that you have to use only equal. You can also use greater than, not equal as well. So let me see let's select our data, or let's try to filter it out, or let's try to print records. Let's try to print the records, which says like, the cars which basically use a petrol. Yeah, so how do you do that? So it's select, I want the records, so which has a transmission as petrol. Yeah. So before that, let's see like what is our actual table. Let's print this car data table so that I can just look at the fields, like whatever are there, like whatever fields. Yeah. So not the transmission, so it's fuel type. Okay, let's try to filter it out records which are using fuel type as petrol. That is basically especially Audi cars. Okay. So what I do is, so let me take a select statement and let me take all the records, select star from, so car data. So where? So instead of brand, I'm basically trying to filter it out records which has a fuel type petrol. Okay, so what I do is I specify the condition as fuel type equals petrol. Yes, Pavan, here we don't use double equals. Instead, we use just single one. So it's a petrol. Make sure the petrol has in petrol keyword that is in a field. P is capital. It's case sensitive. Remember that. Let's run this. So it's fuel type. Yeah. So it has to return me all the records which has a fuel type as petrol. Can you see? Let me just scroll it down so that you can see. So you can see the different brands and the fuel type is petrol. You don't see diesel here. You can do it in other way as well. Instead of equal petrol, what you can do if you want cars which are using petrol, you can also use a not operator and you can see not equal to, you can just say diesel. So done with the fuel type, right? So let's focus on any other condition. Let me say I just want to filter it out records which are basically purchased after an year 2014. So what do you do? So I just need to specify year there in the place of condition, year, and I'll specify year greater than 2014 because I'm trying to figure it out, or I'm trying to filter out records which are basically purchased after 2014. Let's run this. So even if it has, if some records has petrol and some records has, it has a small thing. So you have to do a data manipulation kind of thing. That basically done. You can select both the conditions. Like if you have a petrol with capital P and petrol with small p, in that case, you can use or condition and you can specify both. Fuel type equals petrol with capital P or petrol with small p. It will filter it out everything to you. You can see here, it has given you all the records. That means all the cars which are basically purchased after 2014. You can see that you don't see anything less than 2014. Everything is like 2016, 15. Even you can change the value. Like let's say instead of 2014, let's say 2017, and let's filter it out and let's see what it's going to return. Yeah, can you see? Can you make out? So after 2017 means it's returning you 2018, 2019, 20, yeah. Are you getting? So this is how comparison operators are going to work. It doesn't mean that you have to use just equal. I showed you an example for equal, not equal, and also for greater than. Yeah, you can use two conditions. That basically comes in a logical operators. Still, I'm in a comparison operators. I hope we are done with the comparison operators now. Understood? You can try. You can just play with a data set by specifying the different conditions like less than, greater than, or equal to. Even you can take a price and you can just say like, the price greater than like some number or less than some number, something like that. You can just play. It's all about playing with different conditions. Then, okay. Now let's move to the logical conditions and let's see how logical conditions are going to work. So yeah, let me move to the slide. Okay. Yes, Basuraj, you can create it. So there are three logical operators like and, or, and basically not operator. So this and operator is going to return records but satisfies both the conditions. I told you that logical operators are basically used to filter records based on multiple conditions. Multiple conditions can be specified using this logical operators. So what and operator does? So it will return records only if both the conditions are satisfied. Otherwise, it won't print. Okay. And let's see, this is the general syntax. You just need to remember the general syntax, then you can write a SQL query for anything. Okay. So first you have to take a select a keyword, and then I'm trying to fetch all the records. So I'll give asterisk. So I'm fetching it from a table. So it's going to be from the table name. And then since I'm trying to filter it out records, or I'm trying to fetch records based on multiple conditions, I need to use where condition. And then you need to specify the multiple conditions that you are using or that you are given. So I'm trying to specify the two conditions. So first condition, and in between the, and then you have to use and operator and the second condition. If you want to give a three conditions, you can just give and operator again, and then you can specify the third condition. That's how and operator is going to work. Okay, so let's see the example here. So I want to return records based on condition. So the first condition is like select star from car data where brand equals Audi and the transmission is petrol. Oh, it's not a transmission, I'm sorry. It has to be a fuel type. So let's try to filter records or the brand names or the brand or the cars, which basically use fuel type as petrol. So here we are using two conditions. Make sure the record has to belong to Audi brand and the fuel type has to be petrol. Only then it will return you the record. If one of the condition fails, it won't return record for you. That's how and operator works, right? Like both the operations, both the conditions should be true. Only then and operator will work. Similarly, you can see the second one, select asterisk from car data where price is less than 20,000, let's say it's in euros or let's say in dollars, and brand is basically BMW. So it will figure it out. It will print the record which belongs to a BMW, which has a price less than this number. That's how and operator is working. Okay, let's try this using a SQL workbench. Are you guys getting? Are you able to follow like whatever I'm saying? Understand the logic? So I'm using and condition, right? Let's see, I'm using and operator. So I'll use select. I'm trying to fetch all the records. So it's asterisk from. The table name is car data. So I need to specify the condition. So what is the condition? So before specifying your condition, you just have to use a where clause. So it's where. So my first condition is, I just need to specify the brand name. I want to filter record which belongs to a brand. Let's see, it has to belong to a BMW brand. And also the second condition is the fuel type has to be a petrol. Yeah. So my first condition, so brand spelling is wrong. That will return you an error if I run this. Yeah. And also fuel type equals, it's going to be petrol. Okay, let's say it's petrol. Let's run this. So you could see just records what belongs to our BMW, and also the fuel type is basically petrol. So you have very less records. Okay. So this is how and operator works. That's good. So let's try one more using this and operator. So let me just select. So car data, I'm doing this just to see the column so that it's easy for me to filter it out records. Okay. Let's do one more condition using and. So let me select start from. Sorry, I need to fetch all the records. Oh. All the records from car data set. I need to specify the condition as. Okay, now my condition is let's print all, let's try to print out the record which belongs to Audi brand, and also which are manufactured after 2014. Okay, let's do that. So I'm saying where, let me say brand equals, I'm selecting Audi here. Oh, we are done with Audi. Let's take a Ford. Okay, let's take a Ford. And the second condition, I want the cars which are basically manufactured after the year 2014. So how do you specify that condition? After the year 2014 means you need to specify that year column, and it has to be greater than 2014. So it doesn't mean that you have to use equal every time. You can also use a different comparison operators. Okay, let's run this. Yeah. So it has given you all the records which belongs to the brand Ford, and also which are manufactured after the year 2014. You can see you don't have any records which are less than 2014. Even you can change, instead of 2014, what you can do is you can just say 2017 and you can just filter it out. And let's run this. Yeah. So it gave you all the records which belong to Ford brand, and also the year of manufacture is greater than 2017. That means it has included just 2018 and 19. So before that, previously it was like the data set had like 2014, 15, 16 things. Now, based on the condition, you can see only few records what belongs to a brand Ford. Preetham, ma'am, can we check more than two conditions in a single code line? Yeah, you can. So this is how AND operator works. Clear? Let's move on to the next logical operator, that is OR. So you might be knowing why OR record is used. So it's basically used to return records, but satisfies either of the conditions. Yes, no? It will return record even if the first condition is true and even if the second condition is false. It says like either of the condition. If one of the condition is satisfying, it's just going to return you the records. That's how OR operator is going to work. So you can see our syntax here. Same thing, select. You just have to print all the records, then it's asterisk. And you're fetching it from a table name. So it's from table, and you need to specify a condition, two conditions. So you use where clause. And you need to specify the condition 1 and condition 2. So here we are using the logical operator, that is OR operator. Yep. So let's look at the example. Instead of AND, we have OR, that's it. Okay. The difference is AND basically returns all the records if both the conditions are satisfied. But OR operator, it returns you the record if one of the conditions is satisfied. Okay. So let's say I need to return the records which belongs to both Audi and BMW. So how do you do that? I can't use AND operator. I can't say, I return record which is Audi as well as a BMW. That's really an insane thing. It's never going to happen. Yes. So when you want to print out two records, when you want to print records related to two brands, the good practice is always like you can use OR operator. That means it will print records which belongs to Audi car, as well as it will print you records which belongs to BMW. And look at the first code that I have given, first example. It says like select star from car data where brand is Audi or fuel type is petrol. So what do you mean by that? So it will print records for the first condition, that is it's saying like brand is Audi. That means it will print all the records which belongs to Audi brand. And then what it does, it will come to the second condition. Again, it will print all the conditions, all the records which has a fuel type as petrol. So that means it can include even BMW, it can include Ford. So that's how OR operator is working. AND operator means both the conditions has to be satisfied. But in OR, if either of the condition is satisfied, then it's going to print you the records. All right. So let's see how it works in MySQL Workbench. So yeah. So we are using on and operator, right? Yeah. So let me take our select statement. So I'm trying to return all the records. So it's going to be select asterisk from. So my table name is car data. Yeah. And you just need to specify the conditions now. Before specifying, I need to take a where clause. So it's where. So first condition. So my question is like, you want to return records which belongs to both Ford and BMW. So how do you do that? So Ford and BMW. So you need to specify brand name as Ford. So that will be the first condition. So you want to return records which belongs to BMW brand as well. So how do you do that? So we use OR operator. I can't use and here, remember that. So it's going to be brand, which is equal to, I can specify the brand name that I want. So I want to print out records which belongs to a BMW. So let's see, and let me run this. It will include records which belongs to both a Ford brand as well as BMW. That's how things are going to work in OR operator. Yes, Rita, that's possible. Okay, so this is how OR operator works. Here. So shall we use like both and OR operator together? Either means see, like it will print records for both the conditions. That's how OR operator works in SQL. It will take the first condition, it will return all the records for the first condition, and also it will return all the records of BMW. That's how OR operator works. And means it will check both the condition. If it will take a record, it will check the first condition. If it belongs to a Ford, then it has to belong to a fuel type petrol. Only then it will print. But here I can't use AND operator. It doesn't make any sense here, right? Just imagine if I take a record and can I say like, that particular record belongs to a Ford as well as can I say it as even that belongs to a BMW? It's not possible, right? An individual record belongs to an individual brand. So that's why I have to use OR here. Clear? Yes, you can use OR condition between two other brand names. You can take one more like we have Audi as well as like Hyundai. So you can take that. You can use it. Yeah. Okay. So clear with the OR condition. So let's use and OR together. So let me give an example. Let's select. Let's try to filter it out all the records from the car data. Where, so let's say brand equals BMW. Okay. And I'm using AND operator. Now I'll use OR operator for the second condition. Okay, I want to return all the records which belongs to a brand BMW and make sure. And the conditions that I'm giving is basically, let's see, transmission. I think this is what people were expecting from me. So it's transmission, let's say it's manual. Yeah. So transmission is manual. Sorry. By this bracket. Let me choose three conditions for AND. So let's say transmission. Oh, yeah, transmission manual. And let me close this. And let's take a fuel type as petrol. Fuel type equals. Yeah, so we took three conditions. So it has to return me a record which belongs to BMW, which has a transmission manual, and then it should have a fuel type petrol. Only then it will return. Let's see how many records do I get it. It's okay. It's taking petrol. That's not case sensitive. Understood. So this is how you can use AND operator for the multiple conditions. Similarly, let me show you like how to do a multiple, like 3 conditions with the OR operator. Let me see select. It's going to be asterisk from car data. Where, okay, let's see branches. Let's see Audi. Yeah. Or let me see fuel titles. Petrol. Or let me see transmission is manual. Can I expect answer for this from you? Like what all things I'm going to get here? So I have given 3 conditions and the operator is OR. So it says like I need to filter it out records. Record which has a brand name Audi, and also the record which has fuel type petrol, and also the record which has a transmission manual. Here, it doesn't consider like, if it's a record, if a record belongs to Audi, or then only like it will take to a fuel type. It doesn't like that. It doesn't work like that. What it does is first it will check the condition. It will take a record and it will check the condition. If it belongs to an Audi, it will print everything. All the records which belong to an Audi, again, it will check for the fuel type. So whatever records has fuel type petrol, all those records will be printed irrespective whether it is BMW, whether it's a Ford, it doesn't consider. It will print everything. And then it will check the third condition, that is transmission. Whatever records has a transmission as manual, it will filter it out, or it will print you all the records which has a manual transmission. It won't check only for the Audi, it will check for all the brands, and it will give you the output. Okay, that's the difference between AND operator and OR operator. AND means if it will check the first condition, for the first condition, it will check second, then second condition was third. All 3 conditions should be satisfied in AND case. But here, oh, transmission spelling is wrong. Yes. Yeah, thank you. Look at this output. So basically, we gave 3 conditions. It doesn't show just only Audi, it will show all the car brand names. Yeah, you will get it all the brands because we are using OR operator. OR operator will return records for all the conditions. Okay, it will print all the records for the first condition. Similarly, it will print records for the second condition. It will print record for the third condition. Okay, that's how OR operator is working. Okay, let's try AND and OR together. Let's see select star, asterisk, or star, okay, from car data. So where okay, where let me see fuel type is petrol. Yeah, it will print whole data set. That's the specialty of OR operator. So where fuel type is petrol, and okay, okay. First, let me use AND operator, and let me see the brand equals, let's see, Audi, or the brand equals BMW. So this statement is something like, I want to filter it out records, or I want to return records which belongs to a brand Audi and BMW, which has a fuel type petrol. So if you want to query something like this, in that case, you have to use AND and OR together. So what it does, it will print both the brands like Audi and BMW, and also it will check. Like if the fuel type is petrol, then it will go with this condition. It will print out the record which belongs to Audi as well as the record which belongs to BMW, because it's an OR operator. Okay, if you run this, you will see records related to the brands Audi and BMW, which has a fuel type petrol. You want to see the data set? Let me scroll down. Look here, transmission, fuel type will be petrol itself. You will not see diesel, okay, it will be petrol, but there will be two brands because we have selected two brands. That is, one is Audi and the BMW using OR operator. Look here. Can you see Audi and BMW, and fuel type is just petrol. It's not changing. Can you make out? Are you guys able to see? Are you guys able to make out? Understanding. Similarly, instead of petrol, what you can do is, keywords are not sensitive, okay? Keywords are not sensitive. So instead of fuel type, let's take our transmission, and let's try to find the records which belongs to Audi and BMW, which has the transmission as automatic. Let's see that. So what you do, the first condition, you can just say the transmission, which is equal to, instead of manual, I'm saying I want all the records, automatic cars, like which belongs to Audi and BMW brands. So then something might be wrong in your code of the bashes. So transmission was basically, it's going to be, it's automatic, right? Yeah. So it's automatic. Yeah. So let's run this. It has to return you the records which belongs to the brand Audi and BMW, which are automatic. The transmission should be automatic. Can you make out here? See, transmission is automatic. Before it was manual was there, right? So now we have filtered record based on a condition like transmission has to be automatic, and also the brand should be just Audi and BMW. You can see just Audi and BMW, no other brands. Get it? So this is how AND operator or operator works. Now let's move on to the not operator. That is the last logical operator. Let me move on to the PPT. I hope you people are getting that. Yes. So the final logical operator is basically not operator, which basically records if condition is true. Okay, let's select star from table where not condition. You can take an example. Select star from car data where not brand equals Audi. Not brand means it will return all the brands except Audi. Okay, so not means it will skip that execution. That means it will skip the records of that particular condition, and it will return the rest of the records. Here I'm specifying select all the records where not, I'm saying where brand is not Audi. So if brand is not Audi, that means you have to print all the records except Audi. That's how not operator works. Okay, so let's see how it works in MySQL workbench. So it's going to be select. I'm printing all the records from car data where not operator. What I'm saying, I don't want to print the records which belongs to Audi. So I'll see where not Audi. And let me run this. So it will give you all the records which belongs to all the brands except Audi. It will skip the records of Audi. It will print rest of the things. Getting? See? You can see all the brands. So this is how not operator is going to work. It will return. Oh, sorry, I just used this. Yeah. Is it clear about the not operator? So this is how AND, not, and OR operator is going to work. So let's move on to the next SQL statement, that is order by. So why do we use this order by concept? Do you remember the sorting? What do you mean by sorting? So sorting basically used to arrange data in ascending or descending way, right? But in SQL, we have a concept of order by, which basically used to sort records in ascending or descending order. Yes, exactly, Sumit and Lokesh. To arrange data either in ascending order or in a descending order. You can filter it, okay? Like if you want to see like in an ascending or descending order, you can just use order by. So this is a syntax. You just need to select star from table name and where condition. And then you have to use order by. So like if you want to order by a particular column, we can apply this order by only for an individual column. Okay. So order by, you need to specify the column. And by default, when you specify order by, if you don't specify any of this ASC or DSC, by default, it will print you everything in an ascending order. If not, if you want it in a descending order, you just need to print DESC. Okay, it's always good to mention ASC or DSC. So I showed there are two options. If you want it in ascending, you just need to specify ASC. And if you want it in descending, you just need to specify DESC. Okay. So the first statement is like select star from car data where brand is Audi and we need to order by year in ascending order. So we have different years, right? Like 2014, 2015. So we are trying to order the records based on year. Okay, in an ascending order. Ascending order means it's an increasing order. Let's see how it's going to work in Python, in SQL. And the second one, select, it will print out all the records for you, but brand is BMW and it will order by the price. Okay, that means here we are trying to filter it out records based on a condition. That's why I'm specifying the condition as brand equals BMW. Okay, it will just give you the records of BMW and then it will sort it. It will order by the price column in descending order. So you'll get it in decreasing order. Let's see this, how it's going to work in MySQL Workbench. Yeah. So here is MySQL Workbench. Okay, yeah. So yeah, final one. Where not means it has written all the brands. By showing just this here. So basically I need to use order by, right? So first let me print my car data. So select star from car data and let me run this. Yeah. So select. I want to print all the records. So it's going to be asterisk from the table name is car data, where I need to specify the condition. So I want to filter it out records which belong to BMW car. So let's say brand equals BMW. And I need to order by a column name. I need to order by an year, okay? Let me not specify anything and let's see how it will return me. Okay, how will be the answer? Okay, let me run this. Let's look at the output. So it has given me all the records which belongs to brand BMW, and also you can see it has ordered thing in a year in an increasing way. I told you that by default it's going to arrange your data in ascending order. Same thing had happened here. What if I don't say this? See here, without typing this order by year, let's see our record. So this is just returning records which belongs to a brand BMW, right? So now the question is like, I want to order this data. I mean, I need to arrange this data in increasing order. So for that, what I'm using order by keyword. That is, it's order by. You can specify ASC, even if you don't specify ASC. Before that, you need to specify ordering by which column. I'm ordering by year column. Okay, you can specify only one column. Remember that. So by default, it takes ASC. Otherwise, you can specify your ASC. Let's run this. Yeah, you can see initially it was like different years were there, right? Like 2017 something. Now, in order to arrange, in order to sort it in increasing order, so I have used order by. So you got the records which belongs to a BMW and which is sorted in increasing order. You can see that here it's increasing. We have sorted it or we have ordered it by the column here. Okay, similarly, let's see for DESC. It gives the reverse way. So it started from 2012, right? Let's do this order by for the same column, that is, we'll order it by an year column. So it's going to be, yeah. So instead of ASC, let's give DESC, which is going to return records in descending order. Yeah. So let me run this and you can make out the difference. It will start from 2018. Yeah. Getting? So specify the condition, then order by keyword, then by which column you are, like in which column you are organizing. Okay, so based on which column, it's basically an year. You can specify whether it should be in ascending or descending. Even if you don't specify ESC, it's okay, it works. If you want things to be in a descending order, then you need to give a DESC. Yeah, that's good. Understood? So this is about order by. Now let me move on to the next SQL statement. Let's see what it is. Yeah. So it is null or is not null. I think you might have studied about this null values when you have learned about the data science kind of thing. So what do you mean by null value? Null values are basically empty values, right? Yeah, no data, none. Yes, exactly. So if you use this is null or is not null, we can check like whether it contains any null values or not. Okay. So is null or is not null statements are basically used to check whether null values exist in the table or not. Okay. Yeah. So the statement goes something like this. You can just see select star from table name, where you can take a column, individual column, and you can check whether it is null or not null. In order to is null means it will return the null values. If it's not null, it will return the not null values. Okay. And the examples are something like this. Yeah. You can check. Select brand from car data where brand is null. You can also select entire data. It gives you, it shows like if there are any null values or not. So select brand from car data where brand is not null. Is null means it will show the null records. If it's not null, it will show you the not null records. Yeah. So, yeah. So let's see like how it works and MySQL workbench. Yeah. So now we need to check for the null values, right? Is null, not null. Is null or is not null. So let me print my data. Are there any null values in my data set? Did you check it? Just by a manual method? Any null values did you find? I don't think you have null values in this. So yeah. So I think it's a clean data. So it's select. Let me check for a brand column. So it's brand. I'm basically fetching it from a table called as car data, where brand is null. Like I'm asking SQL to check whether a brand column has null values or not. So let me run this and let's see what it returns. So it's giving no records. That means there are no null values. You can also check with some other column. I can see, let's check it with price column. Let's see price is null. Oh, okay. I'm printing brand here. Yeah. So there are no null values. You can just even use asterisk so that it shows you like, is there any null values inside any of the record? So no, there are no null values in this data, I think. Yeah. So now let's check for the not null. Okay, that means it will just return you the records which doesn't have, which are not null. That means it will return you the records for you by ignoring the null values. So in this data, obviously there are no null values. So it will return you the entire data now. So let's say where price is not null. Okay, let's run this. Yeah, so it returns you it will return you all the records. These are not null values. Not null means that should be something, right? So that's what it's written. So this is how null operator and not null operator is going to work. No. You have to specify individual column only. That's how syntax works. Okay. Understood about null and not null? So now let's move on to the next SQL command. Let's see what it does. So it's limit. So limit basically helps you in returning specified number of records. Let's say if you want to return just 5 records or 10 records. So in that case, you can just use a concept of limit. So the syntax is something like this: select asterisk from table name where condition, and you just need to specify your value. You can limit it. Okay. So it's something like select asterisk from car data where brand equals 4. It will return you all the records of 4 and it will just print you the 5 records. So by using this limit. And also you can just print after car data itself, you can print limit so that it will print 5 records of ER data, okay, without a condition. Getting? So let's try this limit condition using MySQL Workbench and let's see what it returns. So it's select. Yeah. So let's print select asterisk from car data. And I want to just print 3 values, that is 3 records. Let's run this. So without where condition, I'm trying to print 3 records of a data. So it's giving me just 3 records. You can specify like how many other numbers you want. And do you want to return records from 3 to 6? Someone was asking, can we do slicing? So let's see, it's just 3 to 6. It's going to return you the records from 3rd row to 6th row. Right? And also you can limit this by specifying where condition as well. Let's see where brand equals, let me take it only 4. Let's try to return records which belongs to our 4 branch, and let's limit it to just, let's say I want just 4 records. Yeah, it's going to be limit 4, and let's run it out. So it will fetch the records which belongs to our 4 branch, and it will return you just the 4 records. So this is how limit keyword is going to work in SQL. Get it? Limit is basically used to filter it out records based on the conditions. Okay, let me move on to the next. I don't think negative value works here. Let me try. No, it doesn't take. It's like a straightforward thing. Like you can extract a range of things. It doesn't work like a chain thing. Okay, so basically we are trying to extract a data and no, it's not taking random 4. It's basically taking the first 4 of this data. See, without limit, let me print my data and let me show you the difference. Look here. head and tail is not possible, but you can specify things. Can you see it's starting echo sport, face star, and 2019, 2015, 2013, right? Now let me limit to three records. Yeah. Look at these first three. Just remember. So it's 19, 15, 13. Let me run this. So yeah, you're getting the same thing, echo sport and these things 2019, 15, 13. First, it will filter record based on a condition, like whatever records belongs to a Ford brand, and then it will print the first top three. Okay, it's like fetching a top values. It's giving you the top three values in that particular record. Yeah, you can save this ordered data. I didn't show about exporting, right? Can you see an export option here? Can you see here, export option? Just click on that. So whatever record you filter it out, you can see an export option. Just click on that. It will take you to the file directory and you can save it here. So this data, whatever we got is related to Ford, right? So you can see just Ford and I think it will show different formats. Yeah, you can save it in CSV format or just in Excel spreadsheet. So this is how you will export your data and which can be used for further analysis. Okay. Yeah. So this is how limit works. You can change, you can play with the numbers, you can give, let's see, age. Yeah. SQL returns all the rows when you use that asterisk. Like when you want to extract a limited number of records, in that case, you can make use of limit keyword. So it will restrict things. It will give you like what is required to you. Limit keyword is limiting things. Okay, without specifying limit, it will return all the records based on a condition. In that, if you want to specify or if you want to specifically pick certain records, in that case, you just need to specify that limit. See, if I say limit 8, it will give you just 8 records. Initially, it was somewhere like, like 20 records, something related to food. Now it will give you just 8 records. You can just count things here. See, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah. Like it starts from 0, 1. Limit is only for fetching records, not the features. Okay, it's a value number. Done. Okay, let's move on to the next SQL statement and let's see what it is. So clear with the limit. So we are basically focusing on fetching records from the top, not from the bottom. You can try that. So done with the limit, and the next one is in operator. Yeah, you can store millions of data in a database. Table wizard method basically helps you to store a very less amount of data. It's very hard to store the data which has huge records. So we have a comment prompt. Probably in the next session, I'll show you like how to use that comment prompt as well. Using that, you can fetch a record in a easier way. That is basically for local instance. And also, if you have a MySQL database file or a SQL file, and using that also, you can just easily dump data. I'll show that at the end of the session, okay? So the next operator is in operator, which is basically used to return records by specifying multiple conditions. This in operator works exactly like, OR operator. When you specify multiple conditions in OR, what it does, it will return records for all the conditions, right? Even in operator is going to do the same thing. See, the syntax is something like this. It's like select asterisk. So from table name, where you can specify your column name, column in, value 1, value 2, value 3. So that means, let's say I want to return records which belongs to 3 brands, that is Audi, BMW, and Ford. So how do you do that? So instead of using OR operator, like instead of specifying multiple conditions, like using OR, what you can do is you can just put all your conditions inside a single bracket and you can use this in operator. You can look at the example here. So I have taken like select, I want to print records which belong to Audi, BMW, and Ford. So now what I want to do, this thing can be achieved even by using OR operator. You can use a brand equals Audi or brand equals BMW or brand equals Ford, which will return all the records which belongs to Audi, BMW, and Ford. Instead of writing that multiple conditions using or statements, what you can do is you can just put all your statements inside your tuples and you can use in operator. Remember, in operator works exactly the same as the way our or operator works. Okay, it will return all the records which belongs to these three conditions. That's how in operator works. Here, it doesn't mean you have to give just a text thing, even you can specify the numbers. So let's take one more example, like let's try to filter it out, a cards or a records which belongs to 2019, 2020, and also 2018. Let's try that and let's see how it works. Yeah. So let me come back to our MySQL workbench and let's see how in operator is going to work. Are you getting that things? Are you able to understand the SQL statements? No limit for data storage. That's why the concept of database. You can store multiple values and like millions of data, massive data. That's why the concept of database. Okay, that's good. You need to practice. Make sure you download MySQL Workbench and download your data set. And whenever you're free, you can do it. So then, since this session is like a webinar, I can't wait for you people to do things. Like otherwise, if I do that, no, I can't complete the whatever concepts we have. I can't complete that in a limited period. That's why I'm going with a concept. I'm not waiting for you. Okay, try to understand that. Just go with the recording again, and you can practice things whenever you are free. Okay. Yeah. So we need to discuss about in operator, right? So the question is like, I want to return all the records which belongs to a brand, like it has to belong to Audi, BMW, and Ford. So how do you specify that? So I need to return everything. So it's going to be select asterisk from the table name is going to be car data. Yeah. And do we use where condition here? Yes, no, we need to specify where condition. So it's going to be where. So where brand. So I'm trying to print this records which belong to this brand that is belongs to a different brands, that is brand in. What are the different brands I specified? So it's going to be Audi. And it's going to be BMW. And let's take Ford. Yeah, let's take it as Ford. So it will return record which includes or which belongs to Audi, BMW, and Ford. You can just look at the data set here. Can you see? You can see Ford, you can see BMW, and you can see Audi. And three more brands were there, and they're not selected because of this condition. Getting? Okay. So let's try one more. Let's try to filter records. Or let's try to print the brands which are basically purchased in a year 2017 to 2018, 19, and 20. Let's do that. So same thing, it's going to be select asterisk. So from car data, this is a common thing. And you need to specify where condition, remember this. So what are we trying to do? I want records which belongs to year 2018, 19, and 20. So let's try it for three years, okay? So let me specify, it's going to be 2018, 2019, 2020. Yeah. And let's run this. So it will print you the records which belongs to these years, that is 2018, 19, and 20. Let's run this. So what happened? So they are years, right? I think you need to specify that within a single quote. So date format has to be written within a string. It's giving an error. Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't use in operator. That's the issue. Yes. What am I doing here? Yeah. Sorry. So where year end, so it's going to be 2018. I think strings are not required. 2019 and 2020. So since it's a date format, and let me run this. Yeah. So it gave you all the records, what belongs to an year like 2018, 19, and 2020. Can you see? Look, 18, 19, and 20. So we don't find 16, 15, 14. Okay, so this is how an operator is going to work. You can also try with a fuel type. Like you can say fuel, like you can give petrol, and yeah, only petrol is there. You can try with the different prices. You can give price and you can specify different prices. So it will give you the record. Okay, so this is how in operator works. Remember, in operator works exactly like a OR operator. So when you want to specify a multiple conditions, so we specify, we try to put all the conditions inside a tuple and we call in operator. Okay, it doesn't make any sense if we if we mention operate or operator multiple times, right? Instead of that, what we can do is we can just use in operator and we can put all the conditions inside that tuple. Yes, good. So let's move on to the, yeah, you can use order by as well within operation, it will sort it out. So between, in is done, between is basically used to return records within a certain range. It can be the values or it can be text as well. Syntax is something like this. You can take select asterisk from table name where column name between value 1 and value 2. Let's say you want to return all the records and what's the prices between certain range. Or else, let's say you want to return all the records which belongs to the, the range of years, like all the records from 2014 to 2017. So in order to return that a range of records in between certain range, we use this between concept. Okay, you just have to use between condition and you have to specify, the value 1 and value 2, which is going to return you all the records within certain range, within a specified range. Look here, I've taken an example, like I need to return all the records, which are basically, which basically belongs to 2017, 18, and 19. So instead of specifying those years together, like if there are only 3 years, it's easy, like you can specify 17, 18, 19. What if I say like, you need to fetch all the records from 1980 to somewhere like 2020? So it doesn't make any sense if you specify all the years inside the tuple, right? So what you can do is you can just use a between so that you can specify a range there. So based on a range, it will, yeah, it's like a limit function. But no, limit is like it will restrict. Okay, it will, if I say the limit value is 5, it will give you only 5 records. There is a difference. Limit means if I say 5 value and limit this condition by 5 means it will just give you 5 records. But this is not like that. When I say return records between 2017 and 2019, it will give you all the records which are between 2017 and 19. That's how the concept works. Getting? Whatever record satisfies within this range, 2017 to 2019, so that will be printed using this between statement. Limit is different. Limit is just for restricting. Yeah, between works like a range, exactly. It's a range. The way you did slicing. Slicing is like from particular index value to other. But here, from that range to like start range to end range, like whatever record satisfies that particular range, that will be printed. Okay. So yeah, let me show you like how it works and my SQL workbench. Let's try to return all the records. See, same thing, like whatever I tried using in operator, same thing could be done using between operator. That's it. Like here, you'll specify if you have a very less condition, you can specify. Okay, what if you have a, like, if you want to fetch records for multiple years, when you have a consecutive range, so instead of specifying those years, you can use a between thing. Okay. Select. So it's going to be asterisk from. Let's take a car data where instead of in, but you're between. Let's give the range. Okay, let me see. I want records between 2016. So between value 1 and you have to use AND operator to separate that. Okay, let's see 2019. Okay, it will return you all the records which are from 2016 to 2019. So it will just give you the range of records. Okay, it will give you the brands which are manufactured from 2016 to 2019. Yeah, price can be used. Suppose if you want to print like if you want to print sales, like what is sales between what is if you want to print a records. For example, let's say you have a price data like the price of some what I can see objects or something else products. So if you say like which products are basically lies within certain range, like from around like 10,000 to 50,000. Okay, you can use that range. Price value, first price value, and then the second price value. Even I'll show for those as well. Okay, let's see how many records it will be there within that particular range. Good question. Yeah. So let's use select statement. See, it's returning you all the records which are from 2016, 17, 18, 19. It will include only 4 years. That's how range works. You can see here. Yeah. 16, 17, 18, 19. And you don't see 20 here because it's not included. Yeah. So similarly, let's try for price range. Okay. And let's see how it works. Let's see, select star from, I want to return all the records and it's going to be car data from car data. That is my data set. Where condition, let me take a column name as price. So I need to specify the range, right? So between what range? So take a between first and let's say somewhere like 10,000 and let's say somewhere 20,000. It's going to return records between these two range. And let me run this. Yeah. Yeah, see, you can see the values between the price between just 10,000 to 20,000. Can you make out? The price values within that whatever range I have specified. It's not exceeding or it's not, values before 10,000. That's how things are working. Yeah. Even try even with the text data as well. It just takes in alphabetical wise. It gives you like, it will take all the range from A to that kind of thing. You can try that on your own. Yeah. So yes, you can do that. Yes, Basuraj, you can specify that. So let me move on to the next SQL operator or SQL statement. So it's basically a like statement, which is the final one. So it is basically used to return records based on a pattern. Okay, if I specify a range like 10,000 to 20,000, it will give you all the records which lies within that range. Okay, within the range, not like just 10,000 and 20,000. It will include all the records which has a price between the range like 10,000 to 20,000. That's how it works. So the final one is like operator. It is basically used to return records based on a pattern. Let's say we have some text data and you can specify a few conditions, like you can specify a pattern and you can try to filter it out records. Let's see, for example, we have a rules for like operator, something like this. So if you use percentage, it basically represents a 0 or 1 or multiple characters. And if you use this underscore, it represents 1 or single character. So based on certain pattern, let's say, for example, if I specify something like this, a percentage, okay, that means it will return a values that start with A and it can continue with any other alphabets. But make sure your text is starting with A. If I specify this pattern, it will return all the records which is starting with a particular pattern. That means it has to start with the letter A or the character A. That's how the percentage. Okay, percentage represents a multiple characters after the C. It can be anything. Multiple characters can be anything. And also we have something like percentage A. That means it returns a value that ends with A. So if A comes first, percentage next, that means it returns a record that starts with E. Percentage E means it returns a value that ends with E. And there are a few more things, like if you have or and percentage at the end and at the at the start and at the end, it basically returns values that have or in any position. So let's say if you have that or inside any letter, like let's say if I say Ford has that or, right? Or thing is inside that Ford. So that means it will return all the records of Ford. And make sure you specify percentage. If you must specify percentage at the end and at the start, it says like, it returns values that have or in any position. And also we have A percentage B. So if you use this pattern, these are like general patterns, okay? It returns values that start with A and end with B. It's basically going to return you the value or a text that is going to start with A and it has to end with B. Only then it returns the value, okay? So A underscore means it returns the value that start with E and that should be at least 2 characters in it. And underscore S means it returns values that has S in the second position. Yeah. So these are the different things, different patterns that you can use. Or means like, or should be inside a text. I'll come back to that. I'll show you each example, okay, like how it prints. Let me go back to our MySQL workbench. And you saw an example. Oh, wait, just a minute. Okay, look, here is an example. Yeah. So select star from car data. That means it returns all the records of car by brand, like. So I'm specifying the condition, like, if a brand has a text something like this, that means that should be you somewhere in the text. If you have you somewhere in the text, that is going to return you the records. So which brand has got you in that particular text? Audi has got you, right? So that means it returns all the records related to Audi. So Ford means you just need to specify OR. If you specify OR is present inside a Ford. Yes. So percentage OR percentage means it's going to return you all the records related to Ford. Similarly, F percentage means, so the text or the brand name has to start with F and it can continue with any number of characters. So which is the brand name which starts with F? It's basically a Ford, right? Yeah. Similarly, you can try with which all brands had it? Hyundai was that, right? I can say if it's starting from H, I can say H percentage. So it will return all the records which belong to Hyundai brand. And similarly, you can try with BMW. You can see percentage W. Percentage W means it returns all the records, or it returns all the records in which the brand name has got the last letter as W. Which brand has got the last letter as W? W. BMW has got W as the last letter, right? Yeah, it's going to return BMW records. So this is how Leica is working. Like basically try to filter it out records based on a condition. Yeah, so let's try a few examples. I should just do, okay. I think that's sufficient. You can explore more on that. So if you know that condition, you can try that on your own. So yeah. So let me say select. I want all the records. Select start from, let's say it's car data. Well, I'm basically trying to specify the condition for a brand column. So it's brand, like, we are using like, and you need to specify the pattern. So whatever pattern you specify, that should be written within a string. Okay, remember that. Okay, what shall I say? Let me use a percentage or percentage. So what records are we going to get from this? What is it going to return me? Why it's showing error? So then close semicolon. Yeah, okay. Yeah. Make sure you close it with semicolon. Very good. It's going to return me 4. Wow. People are getting things. Okay, my question is, yeah, value that have in any position. Yeah, exactly. So can you tell me the code? Like I want to return all the records which belongs to BMW. How do you write? How do you get it using a pattern? Which pattern you use? So select asterisk from. Can I get few answers? Car data where brand. So brand like. Exactly. So if I want a BMW, I need to say percentage, but that means it takes all the characters. Yes, Sumit, even that works. You can use either percentage W percentage or else a percentage W or else, yeah, different things. Percentage B, percentage. Yes, exactly. There are different ways where you can extract things. You can just play with that. So let me run those. So it will give me the records, what belongs to BMW, right? Yeah, exactly. Let's give you. Similarly, you can try with something like select star from. Okay, let's say I want to print. Okay, I want to print records which belongs to Toyota. How do you print? Can you tell me other pattern other than this? Percentage, I don't want. Percentage W, I don't want. Some other pattern, you remember the pattern, right? So can I get a few answers? Run like. Very good. Yes, it's percentage T, or you can use T underscore. Very good. Yeah, exactly. So I can use T percentage. Oh, why the less T percentage? And let me run this. So it has to return me all the records related to Toyota. Understood? So this is how like operator is working. We are basically trying to filter records based on a pattern. Yeah? Understood? Okay, did you get it like how to export our data? You just need to click on this and it will take you to the file directory and you need to save your file name. Okay, that is how you will extract. There is another way to extract, another way to export your data, and let me show that. So this is exporting your fetched data, okay? And yeah, I think this is the only one method. Any other method is like, do you want to learn like how to export? Saving is normal saving thing. Save script. Go to file, save script. It will ask you like normal saving. If I say you like save, it will take me to the file directory. And I just want to I just want to type the name, like whatever I want. I'm basically doing SQL. Let's say it's practice, SQL practice. It will be saved as a SQL file. Okay. So let's say save. And whenever you want, you can just open it. You can see just open SQL script. Yeah. So this is about saving and opening file. And one more thing. So I showed you like how to import a table. Like that table wizard import will work only for a data which has a very less space. Okay, like very less records, not a, it's which has very less records. If it has a huge record, it will not work. It takes a hell lot of time to upload this. And one more thing, what you can do is suppose if you have a SQL file, okay, SQL file, or if you have a database file, you can import it directly. So let's say I have one SQL file here. Let me show that. Just a minute, I'll show you something like how to import a database. So where is it? I have one sample database. Okay, so database, like when you export it, it will be something like this. Even you can export your database, like whatever you have it. See, this is our database file, which carries some 5 to 6 tables. You have different tables. You can see you have a customer table, and also you have a records that they have inserted. It's not a created one. It's basically exported database. When you have a database, you can export. You can import that to your existing database. Let me show you like how. So this is your thing, okay? Database file, which you have it. So basically, I downloaded it from Google, and let me show you like how to import that into a database. Not to a database, to a MySQL workbench. So what it does is, basically, instead of, we are not creating any new database, I'm trying to import the existing database that I have downloaded it from Google. Okay, yeah. It's very simple. Just go to the server. Can you see the screen? Can you see the server option? Can I get few confirmations? Yes, okay. Go to the server. Here you can see data import. Just click on that. So you'll get something like this. Can you see this data import? Administration data import. So here you can see, you just click on this import from self-contained file. Okay, just click on import self-contained file. Okay. So what you have to do is, you just need to browse this. Okay. You need to select the thing. You need to select the file. For that, you just need to click on this more option. So it will take you to this file directory where you need to select your, it will take you to this. Just a minute. Yeah. Can you see it here? So whatever database that I have saved, it's basically a SQL file. See here, it shows like SQL file. So which is 206 KB. Okay. So you can select that SQL file or a database file, whichever you have downloaded it, and just open. Okay. Understood. So just open the server, and here it's data import, and then you'll get something like this. In this, you just need to check on this import from self-contained file, and then you just need to select the path. For that, just click on the 3 dots. It will take you to the file directory, and from there, you need to select that database file. I've shared that file in a drive. You can try it after the class. Okay. So now just come here. Okay. Import progress. Just click on import progress. And here you can see an option like start import. Can you see? You can see, right? Yes. Okay. Let's say start import. So now what it does is it's going to import a database into your MySQL workbench. It says like it's running. It takes time. Yeah. So done with the importing. And you want to see that whether it has imported it or not? How do you see? Let's come back to here and let's refresh. Okay, what was the name? What was the name of the database that I had imported? It's basically a classic model. So initially, I didn't have this data model. I didn't have this database. So now I have imported this database, which has a multiple tables such as, customers, employers, officers, order details, orders, payments, product lines, and products. Okay. It's easier thing, right? Importing database is easy compared to importing table. Again, error. What's the issue, Kushbu? Did you follow the same step? Okay, this is how you will import a database. And also, one more thing. And do you want to export your database? And do you want to export it and do you want to share it with someone? Yeah. So let's try to explore this practice data. Practice data is my database, right? So I want to export it. So how do you export? Click on this. Yeah. And just right click, select this database. Access denied. Kushma, where are you working? Working in MySQL Workbench in your local instance? So select this practice data. This is a database and I just want to export it. So here just we have an import option, right? So don't do it in this way. Just go to the server again. And let's see. Yeah. So we learned about an importing. Now we are focusing on exporting thing. Okay. So if you click on this object selection, are you getting? So just go to the server, that select data export, and you'll get something like this. In this, you need to select your object. So I have different databases here, the car database, MySQL demo, practice data answers. So these are my different databases. So what I want to do is I'll select practice data. Okay, select practice data. Don't do anything. Just click on this export progress. And oh, what happened? So let's send this. Let me refresh it just a minute. Yeah. So let me select a practice data and just come to export progress. Oh, once you select this, export will be done. Let me click again. Let's say export again. Once you select an object selection itself, it will complete that export part. Okay, remember that. It's automatical thing. Exporting is very easy. Even importing a database is easy, but importing table is quite difficult. It depends on the processor that you are using. Okay, and you want to see like where it is, just go to file directory and it will be basically in a documents. Documents, you will have a file called as folder called as dumps. Okay, we are dumping. Whatever we are exporting, it's dumping. And let me select this. Yeah. So I have dumped practice data set twice, right? So that's why I have two things here. So it's done at 12, 10. Okay, it's done only once. Yeah. Can you see? There were 3 tables in a practice SQL, right? Like car data, employee, and employee one. So we have exported from MySQL Workbench, and now it's easy for us to access. Like you can share it with someone, and even they can work with your data set. Like whatever data bases or whatever data set you have created, they can work with this. Clear? So this is how importing and exporting is going to work. No. Here we don't specify. Automatically, it will take documents. Okay, you can see here. If you see your export progress, it shows like where it has stored. So in C drive and it's in documents. It's basically stored in OneDrive and in documents. It's a dump file, and inside that we have this. Can you see? So in this, you can see export completed. Here it shows like where it is saved. You can just go to that folder and you can just take out that database. Yeah, like it's like exporting. That's it. Your database will be available in a workbench. It's just like exporting. Like if you want to share it to your friend, like if your friend want to do something with your database, instead of giving access, you can just directly share your database with them. It's not a good practice, but being a student, when you're practicing, you can do in this way. Okay, clear. So is everything clear for the day? So we discussed like how to import, how to export, and also we studied about the SQL statements. Like whatever SQL statements we studied today, they are the important concepts which plays a very important role being a data scientist. Like they're all like a read operations, right? Like extracting records based on certain filters. Each one of them has a unique property and which can be used in different ways. Yeah. So yeah, that's it for today. So that completes today's session. Just practice it. Just go with the video again and install MySQL Workbench properly and learn like how to operate local instance. You'll see a lot of videos in the YouTube. Okay. Just look at it, create your local instance. You have to give your username and password and start working in that. No, constraints are basically, that is used while creating a table or Cyprium. You have any questions? You can ask me so that I can clear it out. Quick questions, anything regarding like what we did for today's class? First thing, see like how to install a workbench and then how to create a local instance, then how to open that MySQL workbench using username and a password. Learn that first, and then learn things like, like whatever I taught you. First start with creating database, then start with creating table, then learn like what are data types, constraints. Okay, once you're done with creating table, creating database, learn like how to drop a database, how to drop a table, and then just jump to a SQL. I mean SQL commands. Before that, learn like how to import, export. There are different ways. Okay, try to import your data. Remember, using table wizard, you can import very less data. Okay, like somewhere like if for 200 records only, it will take some like 10 minutes based on your processor and based on your memory location, like how much storage you have based on all those things. Table wizard is really slow. It was like it's working as very slow. So there is another method, command line. Using command line, I'll just explain you that in the next class, probably in the next session. And also I taught you like how to export a database and how to import database. Importing database is very easier thing. It will be done in just fraction of seconds. And then start practicing a SQL commands. You have a different commands, right? Like select distinct, where conditions, in between operator. Take a data set and try to play with it. Frame question yourself and try to write a SQL command. That's how you learn a SQL. Okay, take data set, start framing question yourself. You ask yourself a question, and based on that question, try to write a command, and then try to extract the data. Okay, it's all about the practice. Remember the general syntax, understand the general syntax, and then go with the actual one. You can specify things. So when I teach you like and, or, and all, you can try with your own things. You can try combining. So when I discussed order by, you can try that order by even with in operator, even with between operator. I want you people to do that. Okay, so that's how you learn. So connecting database to Python, probably I'll show that in the last session. Power BI, it's easy only. You just have to go to a Power BI thing, Power BI desktop something, and there you'll have an option like connect to our databases. There you can just connect it. Okay, that's it. So it's all about, what you learn and how you practice, how well you understand the syntax and how well you understand the logic. So if you understand the logic and if you are able to frame question and if you are able to write a syntax, then obviously SQL will not be a difficult thing for you. Yeah, you can use online Oracle to practice. It works.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah.
Right.
Yes.
So thank you, Jivita. Thank you so much again for a wonderful session. Yeah. So I hope everyone, learned so many things and will be benefited with this session. So as a continuation, we also have next week. So hope you will join next week and learn SQL more. Okay. So hope all your questions were answered. Shall we end the session? Okay. So thank you all. Thank you for joining. See you next week. Thank you, Jivita, once again.
Thank you, Bob. Thank you, everyone. Thank you for being here. So we'll meet again in our next week, and we'll be discussing a few more interesting things, such as, different joins, and also let's see advanced concepts like how to use group by, order by, and also let's see some advanced concepts in the next week. See you all in the next session. Till then, take care. Bye. And
Thank
thank
you.
you.